Hello, everybody. It's me, Fee, White Zulu, and I want to welcome you to another chapter of, another chapter of Okavango Diary. And I hope you're enjoying these readings. I want to welcome you all. And if you are enjoying them, please share or press the like button or whatever people do if they want to. I'm sorry, I'm a bit Diomaka today. I haven't got any words in front of me to read, so I'm doing this off the cuff. However, this is a greeting to you all and a welcome, and I hope that you enjoy these chapters that I'm reading out. They go out twice a week, Wednesdays and Saturdays, if all goes well. And enjoy them, and thank you so much for listening to them. Share them around. Thank you, and goodbye. 22nd of August. My boss has radioed me to ask if, instead of working in Maun head office during September, I would stay on here at Kugana and do the hostess job for a month. I suspect that nobody else will work with the bitch from hell, and I'm the only employee who hasn't had a taste of her yet. Fred has been telling her from the very beginning and the whole month that we ran Saro Camp that she's a nightmare to deal with. Whenever he had interactions with her over the radio, she would always create a drama, to the point of Fred rolling his eyes and silently mouthing bad words about her to me. I said that was fine, as a month living in that hideous, noisy, filthy hellhole of a town of Maun, taking bookings in that hot tin shed of an office and sleeping at the farm, does not appeal to me one bit, especially without any means of transport. And I've described 2 nights at the farm among the rats and crocodiles, as well as those poor goats dying of thirst. The only snag I can see here is that I'll have to work with the BFH for a month. Anyway, I've agreed to do it. Living in the bush is just too seductive and enticing for me. Along with Dwayne, all the other young bush pilots have fallen in love with Kira, as she's so enchantingly pretty and vivacious. So they all make a special detour every single day, sometimes twice in one trip, to fly low over our camp and give her a wing waggle. It's starting to look like the Battle of Britain out there, with up to 7 small planes at the same time, zooming overhead just over the treetops and often circling to make another pass. This enrages Fred, who says it's disturbing the guest's rest period, let alone his own. He grabs the 12-bore and storms out into the middle of the lawn, brandishing it, aiming at one, and threatening to shoot down the next offender. Sunday, 24th of August. We have just said goodbye to a group of Americans, a woman, head of the Center for Research in Aging in San Francisco, another one, Director of Research and Development of Pacific Health in Honolulu, Hawaii. There's a man who is head of bioengineering research, National Heart, Lung and Blood Institute in Big Sister, and finally another lady who is department head of molecular and medical pharmacology in Los Angeles. They were all great fun and most interesting to talk to. I'm back in Pilot's 2 hut and got a visit from an elephant during the night. There are huge deep footprints right up to my doorstep. Gladly is quite useless at elephant chasing. First of all, he spends all his nights next to the boma fire in front of the bar, where the guests have their after-dinner coffee and liqueurs around the big fire pit and admire the African night skies, as I've described at Saro, our sister camp. Fred has now locked up the guest loo at the bar, where they were sleeping before Oscar left. When the elephants arrive in the camp and start pulling branches down around us, Fred and I have to get up, dodge around the huge elephants' legs that are up against our hut's doorways, and go round to the front of the camp to wake Gladly up. When he does finally wake, he's so petrified of the elephants that when they turn around to see what the noise we're making to shoo them out without waking the guests is all about, he ducks and hides behind one of us. Tonight Fred is trying a new tactic. He's moved the fire to the place where the elephants usually arrive to start eating, and is making Gladly sit there, so the elephants have to trip over him to wake him up. Monday, 25th of August. At 7 this morning, when I go to unlock the kitchen and get the show on the road for breakfast, I hear a great commotion of banging and crashing noises inside, and the sound of pans being knocked over, and I can see that the staple which padlocks the door has been pulled out. I go and call Fred, who is about to give the guides their daily tasks. With extreme caution, he creeps up to the kitchen door with me close on his heels. The door opens inwards, and we push it open very slowly and just a crack. The evening before, I had taken out a big raw frozen turkey to thaw out and roast for dinner that night. Through the crack in the door, we can see a big hyena has got in and grabbed the turkey. It had then tried to get out again with the turkey in its jaws, but couldn't pull the door open. The inside of the door was covered in great scratches from its claws, trying to dig a way out. Fred goes back to his office to collect his knob curry. For our overseas listeners, this is a stick like a walking stick, but with a large bulge on the end. Zulus use this implement to fight each other with and call it iwisa, meaning makes them fall down. Clutching it, he sidles in through the door and throws it open. By this time, I'm watching him through the window from outside, as instructed, so as to be able to direct him as to where the hyena is in that kitchen. The room continues round the corner to where the storerooms are, and at times the animal goes in there to find a way out, and Fred can't see it. That's when I call out to Fred to tell him where it is. Brandishing his knob curry at the hyena, he herds it around the big preparation table in the center of the kitchen, and once it sees the open door, it makes a run for freedom, bolting out with its tail between its legs and our turkey still clamped in its formidable jaws. We're having roast chicken for dinner tonight, and I have to radio my own to explain why we need an extra turkey and 6 more frozen chickens flown up on the next supply run. A family from Israel has arrived. There is a dad, a mum, a son, 18, and a daughter, 15, both extremely, well, I shouldn't say ugly, but unfortunate looking. The boy has a huge, frizzy, bushy black ponytail, terrible acne, and they both have enormous noses. Straight away, the girl has a long face because there are no horses to ride, and has clamped a Walkman over her ears on full blast, while she sits staring at nothing and sulking. The son asks 10 million, idiotic questions without taking a breath, and doesn't wait for any answers. Pa is a know-it-all and has already come into the office to tell me how to use the computer. I told him that it only works when the generator is on. He knows better, and then gives me a long lecture on getting the margins straight. He wastes 3/4 of an hour of my precious time off, including rest time, which I so badly need. The kids' table manners are, as the other Italian teenagers were, except the boy is unbelievably greedy and guzzles his food faster than I've seen any human being do, chewing with his mouth wide open. Then he goes back for second and third helpings before some of the guests have had any food at all. As a result, we didn't have enough steak, and the father immediately complained loudly and bitterly as he didn't get any for his third helping. The girl takes the jug of cream, which is for the fruit salad, off the buffet table and drinks some straight from the jug, making loud slurping noises, and then pours the rest all over her own fruit salad. I had to get another jug of cream for the rest of the guests. I hope she gets very, very sick. Tuesday, 26th of August. The Israeli family got stranded out on the boat with Englishmen, their guide, this morning, and arrived very late for lunch. The father proceeded to give Fred a tirade on the bank about the inefficiency and danger and inconvenience that they'd then been subjected to. The propeller had become tangled in weeds and fallen off. His son kept chipping in with his own criticisms. I thought old Fred was going to go off pop, but he kept his cool, even when he was told by both of them that he ought to keep flares on the boats to fire off in emergencies. Imagine the runaway bushfires that would start. Then, when they finally get to the lunch table, the son told me off because it was a cold buffet. I just said sweetly to him, "That's what we always have for lunch." He ate all the asparagus, demanded more and polished that off as well. 3 tins in all. Now he wants a guide to himself so he can go out and catch tiger fish. He walked into the kitchen to get some bait, and I threw him out, saying the kitchen was out of bounds to guests for hygiene reasons. I watched him fishing from a boat in front of the lodge and saw Blackie, our resident croc, swimming slowly and purposely towards his bait. It's a pity Blackie's too small at 1.5 meters to eat the brat. Last night, Englishmen had caught a bream to use as bait, so that the guests could photograph the fish eagles catch them as he threw the fish into the water. During the night, an otter stole the fish right out of the boat. Englishmen had to use a piece of defrosted Cape hake for eagle bait instead. The guides tie a fish very loosely with grass to a small piece of porous wood and throw it into the water where it floats for a minute, and the fish eagles swoop down and snatch the fish, allowing the guests to take good close-up action photos. Wednesday, 28th of August. The new trick of putting the elephant chaser on the perimeter of the camp works. Not a sound did we hear, nor an elephant see. What a difference to have an undisturbed night. I had so much energy that I turned out the storerooms from top to bottom and found a rat's nest full of old chicken bones that had dragged there right at the back of some cases of long life cream. I had a good clean out. The Israelis have gone. Kira and I did the dance of joy on the bank as their boat puttered off. Fortunately, while we were capering, not one of them turned round to wave goodbye. We've just seen an enormous croc, approximately 12 to 13 feet long, lying near where the boats are moored. It could be Fat Albert, who is often sighted around here, but not since I've been at Kugana. We have an English couple staying for a couple of days. He is 70-ish and his wife a couple of years younger. He is the spitting image of a mad professor with white hair that stands on end and a bushy white beard. He's a character quite out of a novel, right out of a novel, and obsessively keen on birds, following me around and asking lots of questions. He can't say his R's, so an African rail is a whale. We have found out that he is a professor of dentistry and owns and runs the London Medical Centre in Harley Street, London, and his wife is a psychologist specialising in psychometry, also in Harley Street. I was most flattered when they invited me to stay with them if I was ever going to London, in order, he says, for him to sit at my feet and learn about ornithology. Thursday, 29th of August, we have a German couple staying. The poor man got seasick in the boat. He's a specialist surgeon dealing specifically with the reconstruction and microsurgery of hands, and they have their own small plane in Germany with the private landing strip. He's also a pilot and does all his own flying when they travel to countries like Turkey and the UK. Our giant croc is still there and has taken up residence at the small jetty, exactly where the guests get on and off the boats. Now Kira and I have to throw sticks at him so he'll move off a little way. It isn't one thing, it's another. Fred is talking about firing the 12-bore into the water in the hope that the underwater shock waves will scare him off for a while. At lunchtime, a rather frantic young German arrived in one of our boats along with our guests. He's a microlight pilot who was flying over the delta, heading for Katraba, where the landing strip is still being built.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to my videos and my stories of my life. And I want to thank John Moslane for being what I call the sound engineer, but I'm sure there's a more professional word for it. However, faithful, and for 4 years now, I think, he has been here for me every Wednesday. Well, I think it's Wednesdays, but once a week to record 2 chapters of whichever book it is I'm reading. And without him, this couldn't be done. So a big thank you to John. Also, Sean van Vuren, we send the videos to him. Sorry, I'm not reading this. I'm just doing it off the cuff. And my brain is a bit tumor. And Sean uploads them to the YouTube channel where you can find them all in playlists. He does it beautifully. And I want to thank them both for all the help that they give me. Well, it's not help. They do everything for me. And it's a great asset. So also, I have a website called whitezulubook.com, obviously www in front of it, but you'll find it there. Quite easy to find. Johnny Clegg's called The White Zulu. Mine's called White Zulu. And you will find on my website, you'll find all kinds of photographs going way back to when my ancestors settled in the Cape, 1652. Well, not photographs of them, but descriptions. This photograph of my grandmother's wedding, and lovely, lovely photos of the farm we still own. My sister sent me a photograph this morning of the farm in midsummer, and she says how beautiful it's looking. I've had a lot of rain. So, just want to thank my helpers, John and Sean, to thank you all for listening, and also please share this with everybody else. Hit the like button and enjoy. Goodbye.